For DIY number 1, I'm taking 2 of these witch and cauldron wood plaques from the Dollar Tree and some chalk paint, and I'm going to paint it all except for the second cauldron. I'll just paint the outline because I'm going to glue them together like this. So once I place some glue and adhere them together, they look like there's 2 witches stirring the same cauldron. Spooky. Spooky. So now that they're adhered, I'm going to take some of these florals and I'm going to cut off these like branch looking pieces, and I'm going to assemble them together and place them on the back and adhere them to the back with a little bit of hot glue and also a tumbling tower, actually a couple of tumbling tower blocks, just to keep it secure. And I was going to use a craft stick to do this, but you'll see why I decided to use some tumbling tower blocks, because I kind of need these 2 witches to be raised, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So I'll add these 2 tumbling tower blocks to help secure these florals in place. Okay, so now once that's done and that's dry and adhered, I'm taking a set of these window clings from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just taking this cauldron picture, and look at this. It fits perfectly on here. Almost perfect. Look at that. So now I'm going to go in with some of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and I'll adhere it to these wood plaques until it looks like this. Look at this. So cute. Press all the bubbles out as much as you can, but if you don't, it's okay. This will look a little bit authentic with the bubbles. So here I'm going in with some of this ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and it's like a glittery purple and orange ribbon, but the glitter doesn't come off, so it's pretty good ribbon. And I'm going to use some of this ribbon to give the hats and the bottom of their dresses a little bit of color, a little bit of embellishment. So I'll add purple onto one of the witches, and I'll do orange onto the other, and I'll just hot glue them in place like this. And these ribbons they're made very well, so you won't even see the glue lines or anything. I think the sparkles in it help that. And now I'll do the hats like this and just kind of wrap it around to the back, and I'll do both. And look at that. So now they have coordinating hats with their dresses. Have to make it cute. So now I'm going to add a couple more of these tumbling tower blocks, and like I mentioned earlier, I want this piece raised, and you'll see that this will help. So I add another couple of tumbling tower blocks to make it a little bit more raised. So here I'm taking a pizza pan, and I'm taking my bright yellow apple barrel paint, and I'm going to paint this up like this. And I do add a little bit of orange as well. And look at this. This is going to be my moon, my big spooky moon. So I'm just going to hot glue this piece onto the pizza pan, and you'll see the full look in a minute after this other DIY. For DIY number 2, I'm taking 3 of these foam dice, and I'm just going to paint them with some black chalk paint. And then I'm going to take these stickers from the Dollar Tree. They're the white stickers with a black outline. And I'm just going to put these stickers on there to form the word boo. And now I'm going to take some of this Halloween transparent ribbon, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap the blocks with it. And if you look closely, this ribbon has kind of a spider web kind of look to it, like a design on it. So I'm just going to wrap this around the blocks and hot glue them in place. And I'm also going to take some more of this ribbon, cinch to center, and create a bow. Take a little piece of floral wire and attach it like this. Fluff it up a little bit, and take another piece to make the tails. And I just cut it on the diagonal and place them all together with another piece of wire until I have a full bow. And now all I do is glue it onto the top of my whole piece And so I could have stopped here, but no, I wanted to take one of these flowers, these roses. They're the Halloween roses with the eyeball on them. And just place one in the center of the bow. But and I could stop here, but no. Had to take one of these transparent soap dishes from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue the whole piece onto it as a base. And look at that. So here's the full look. What do you guys think? For DIY number 3, I'm taking one of these Thankful and Blessed MDF plaques from the Dollar Tree. It's the pumpkin. And I'm going to remove all these embellishments. And usually this leaf comes off pretty easy, but if it doesn't, just take a knife or a scraper and just pop it off like this. So I'm going to use the back side, and I'm going to paint the whole thing with black chalk paint. And I'm taking another one of these window clings from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to peel off this one that says Home Sweet Haunted Home. And again, I'm just going to take some of my dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and I'm going to lift the top part or the bottom part and place some of the Mod Podge on the window cling and place it, because I want this to be centered. And once I put the Mod Podge, I'm not sure, because this window cling is a little bit larger than the first one. So then I'll do the top part, the same thing, kind of fold it like a taco, and then put it back. And so now I didn't lose my centered position. And try to remove all the bubbles, as many as possible. If you have a brayer, that would be even better. So here I'm taking some of these wood beads from the Dollar Tree, and I'm using these colorful ones because they have some of the colors that I want. They have the orange, and then I'm going to alternate with the natural ones from Amazon, and I'll just alternate orange and natural until I make a hanger. And I'll just put the little hanger back in there. This is the hanger that came with it. And look at this. What do you guys think? For DIY number 4, I'm taking one of these foam pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and with my knife I'm just going to cut a hole in the center because it's hollow on the inside, and I'll just stick my finger in there. And so now I'm taking some of this harlequin looking ribbon, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to place it around once to see how much length I'll need to wrap around this pumpkin. And I'll use this piece as a template to cut 4 pieces. So now I'll just start poking this ribbon through into the middle, and then I'll wrap the other side, going the other way, and I'll just keep wrapping this ribbon until I get the whole pumpkin covered. So like this. And I'll stick my finger through there, make sure all the ribbon is inside. Use a little bit of hot glue if you need to, if it doesn't stay. So see, like here, I'll just put some in there and it'll stay perfectly. And you can use a dowel or anything to poke it in. I use my scissors. And now I'm taking some of these push pins, and I'm going to place them on a styrofoam piece and hot glue all these little googly eyes to them. And now I'm taking one of these velvet pumpkins, and all I'm going to do is push pin all these little eyeballs into place. And there's no rhyme or reason, just wherever you feel it needs an eyeball. Because it's going to be spooky fun. And just take your time, and if one doesn't look right, well, you can move it out of the way, remove it, and replace it. This works perfectly for that. Very kid friendly, definitely. And so just keep working it until you have all your little eyeballs and you have it the way you want it to look. So here I have them all placed. It's always hard to find the last one where to place it. And so see here, I'm moving them. Okay, so now I'm happy with it. So now I'm taking another one of these foam pumpkins and cutting the center as well, making a hole in the middle. And this time, instead of ribbon, I'm going to take some spooky looking fabric that I purchased at Walmart. And this one has these cute little ghosts. Nothing's too spooky. Everything's kind of cute. So these cute little ghosts. And I'm just going to wrap the pumpkin in this fabric. And this piece was pretty perfect for this pumpkin. But if your fabric is a little bit too wide or too long or too large, you can always trim it, of course. And so now I'm taking one of these bamboo skewers, and I'm going to begin to assemble my little spooky pumpkin topiary until it looks like this. Super cute. For DIY number 5, I am taking one of these round wooden ornaments, and I'm taking the beads from this little frame. So I'm just going to take 4, and all I'm going to do with this one is just add some glue and adhere these beads onto this piece, this round piece, to create a riser for my topiary. So this is done. I'll set it aside. And now I'm taking the frame and I'm going to remove the backing part, and I'm going to use this buffalo check deco mesh that I had, and I'm going to just simply wrap this piece with this deco mesh. And at the time I thought it was a good idea, but boy, this thing was a little bit difficult. This was a challenge. So I removed the edge part of it, and here I'm just going to add some hot glue and wrap this piece. Let me tell you, I don't know. It does work in the end, but the whole time I just was shaking my head like, oh no, I don't know if this is gonna work, because those little wires were just everywhere. They were just everywhere. But I just kept with it. And so I placed the backing back onto the frame and just closing it up. And let me tell you, look at this mess. So now I kind of pull it to try to get all those lines to be a little bit straight. And I just thought, well, you know what? I'm going to leave it a little bit whimsical here, because spooky things are not perfect. And that's what I just kept telling myself. And then I ended up trimming it, all the backing part of it. So I trimmed all that off. And so now I decided, okay, I'm just going to work with this. So now I'm taking some of these little hats from the Dollar Tree. They're the wooden stickers, and one of these little brooms. And these little brooms are so cute, but I did have to end up cutting part of the top. It was a little bit too long. So now I'm just going to adhere this little broom onto the frame. And now I'm moving the hat. I decided to put Beware on there. Let me tell you, this thing was a challenge, and I decided to film the whole thing just to show you guys that sometimes this is just a process. You just got to go with the flow. So now I ended up using the orange hat, and I'm going to place that on the frame. So now all I'm going to do is take this little cauldron, glue it on there. I don't show it, but I ended up cutting it in half so it'll fit better, and I placed some of these pokey looking florals till it looks like this. What do you guys think? For DIY number 6, I'm taking one of these MDF wood words from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it black with some black chalk paint. And now I'm taking some of the googly eyes that the Dollar Tree has, and I'm beginning with the larger ones, and I'm going to place a couple on the bottom, a couple on the top, and 4 in the center. And so once I get those in place, then I'll begin to add the smaller ones, and I'll just fill up this whole word with these smaller ones until it looks like this. Just look how cute. Okay, on to DIY number 7. I am taking one of these domes from the Dollar Tree, and these were from last year with the brown base. So I'm going to remove all the stickers on it, open it up, and I'm going to paint it black. And I'm also painting one of these round wood ornaments as well, like this. So now that I have them painted, I'm going to add these wood stems from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to create another riser just to give it that whimsical kind of look. Kind of looks like a stool. And now I'm going to take some floral moss and glue it onto the base of this dome. And I'm taking a couple pieces from Dollar General. This is just some resin piece. And then this other little piece. I thought they would look cute together. It's like a little tree, haunted tree, and a pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern. And now I'm taking some of these fairy lights from Amazon, and I'll have it linked in my description box. I really like these because of the battery pack is tiny. It's not bulky like the ones from the Dollar Tree. And I like the wire because it wraps easily around the projects. And so I just wrap it in there, put the dome on, and as easy as that. I'll tuck the little battery pack underneath the whole setup and put it on my riser, and that is it for this one. Look how cute! And you'll see the final reveal on this one in a minute after this next DIY. So for DIY number 8, I'm going to take this crystal looking candle holder from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it black. And then I'm taking some E6000, putting some glue on the top, and I'm going to add one of these little glass dishes from the Dollar Tree. They're like little condiment dishes, and I'm going to do a combination of the E6000 and hot glue and add one of these little skulls. And I'm taking one of these glass fishbowl vases from the Dollar Tree, and I'm making sure it's going to fit around this little skull. I'm not a big fan of the skulls, but I thought this one didn't look too bad, so I went ahead and used it. And I like the black color on it. It has like a iridescent kind of look, so I decided to go ahead and use it. And so now I'm taking some more of these Amazon little fairy lights, and I'll just wrap it around his little head, and I'll hot glue the backing to the back of his head. You won't even see it. So once I get all the lights put in there, then I'll place the little fishbowl back on his head, and it'll stay on there pretty well. I think it came out super cute. And here's the final reveal for these last 3 projects. What do you guys think? For DIY number 9, I'm taking 13 of these little boxes from the Dollar Tree and one of these little smaller wooden haunted houses, and also 13 of these tumbling tower blocks, and painting everything in black chalk paint. And now I'll take some of these orange mini ornaments from the Dollar Tree. I need 13 as well. And I'm taking the little drawer part of these little boxes, and each of these ornaments I'll hot glue all the little hanger pieces in place. And with the little tumbling tower blocks, I'll place the block in a position to where it'll hold the little ornament in place like this. And yes, there's still a gap, but we'll remedy that in a minute. And I'll also add some E6000 for more security. And now with my hot glue, I'll just begin to build this little structure, and I'm turning it into a Halloween advent calendar with treats inside. And I'm not too worried about the fact that the little boxes don't fit just perfectly. It kind of adds to the whimsy of this Halloween advent calendar. So now I'm adding some of these leather felt stickers, and they come in different designs, different different patterns, and I'm just going to add them to help disguise all these little holes that are left. And these are pretty fun for the kiddos. This is definitely a family piece for the kiddos with all the bright colors and the pictures. And so I just kind of add them wherever I feel like, you know, a little ghost would look perfect, a little hat would look great, little bat would fit just right, and so on. Look at the little witch shoes. Oh my goodness. So now, of course, we have to add some candy to these advent calendar drawers, right? So some little vampire teeth and some little eyeballs, some gumballs and some pumpkins and cowtails and just whatever your children would love. And this, I made this for my grandchildren. So look at this. They're all filled. Put them all in place. Look how cute. So now I'm taking another one of these wooden haunted houses. This is the larger one, and I painted it black. And now I'm taking some of these little buckets. They're the jack-o'-lanterns and the cauldrons, and so I'm going to stack them. And so I'll place some glue on the rim of the cauldron and add one of the little jack-o'-lanterns on top. And I'll do this to a couple of them. These will be my embellishments for the top of my house. And now I'm taking one of these battery packs of lights, of the LED lights. These are the orange ones. And I'll add the batteries and make sure it works. Works great. Put the little screw back in. Gotta keep it secure. And so now all I have to do now is start assembling. So I'm taking the larger haunted house and I place it on the back of the whole setup and put the smaller one in front and the lights in between and the little cauldrons on the sides. Everything full of candy. And using some chalk, I did add the numbers 1 through 13. So what do you guys think? For DIY number 10, I'm taking 3 of these jars, these glass jars, 2 taller, 1 a little shorter, and this is so simple. Oh my goodness. All I'm doing now here is taking some of this thin gauze, and I'm just going to wrap these jars with this gauze. And I was thinking of painting it white first, the jars, but then I thought, no, I'm trying to create like mummies, and I want them to be a little bit transparent, because I'm going to add some LED candles on the inside. So I definitely decided not to paint them after all. So I'm just working with this gauze, and I do end up doing a little bit of hot glue here and there because they started to kind of unravel. The mummy unravel. So I'm just going to keep working it and do a little crisscross effect here and there, and then finally secure it with some more hot glue until it looks like this. And I'll do this to all 3 of the jars. And now I'm taking a variety of googly eyes. I'm taking 2 of the larger ones for the dad mummy and a couple of the mid-sized ones with the little eyelashes. Look at this, how cute. For the mommy mummy. And then some teeny tiny ones for the little boy mummy, like this. Look how cute. And now all I have to do is add my LED candles inside. And that is it. That's it for this DIY. Super cute. And look at that. It's a little mummy family. What do you guys think? For DIY number 11, I am taking the rest of these little buckets. One of these cauldrons is what I had left. Two of these jack-o'-lanterns is what I had left. And then this pack of 3 green buckets as well, these 3 jack-o'-lanterns. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one of these topsy-turvy kind of jack-o'-lanterns, stacked jack-o'-lanterns. So with the tip of my hot glue gun, I'm going to burn a hole right through the little jack-o'-lantern buckets like this. So there's like a hole in each one. And now I'm taking one of these dowel rods and I'm going to cut it to size with my miter shears like this. And I'm going to begin to assemble. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of the dowel, place it in the middle of the inside of the cauldron, add some more glue to secure it in place, take some of these little rocks from the Dollar Tree to give it some weight and stability, and then all I'm going to do now is just begin to place these little pumpkins or jack-o'-lanterns in a manner that they will sit topsy-turvy. And so I'll do the orange one first and then the green one, and make sure that they all sit opposite from each other, and then last the other orange one. Set that in there as well and make sure that they're sitting topsy-turvy. And now I'm taking the rest of these florals that I had that I've been using for all my DIYs, and I'm going to remove the rest of these little spooky looking picks. They have like little spiders and little bats on them. I think they're cute. And so now I'm just going to add a little bit of styrofoam inside the top bucket and then place these little picks in there just to give it some more interest and some more height. And that is it. Super cute. What do you guys think? I think any child can do this. Perfect. Perfect family time project. For DIY number 12, I am taking one of these black pool noodles from the Dollar Tree, and with my finger utility knife, I'm just going to cut them in various sizes like this. And I didn't measure, I just kind of like eyeballed it until I had 5 pieces. So here's 3, and then I'll cut 2 more pieces. Just make sure that they're all different in length. You don't want them all the same length, because these are going to be some spooky candles. So I'll go ahead and cut this last cut until I have them all like this. So once I have them all ready, then I'll trim off any edges that are not straight. And here I have these little black LED candles that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I want to put them in the inside. So I go ahead and make a hole big enough on each one of these little faux candles, and until I can fit one of these little candles inside. So like this. And I'll do them all. So here they all have that hole. So now I'm going to begin with some hot glue, and I'm trying to create some melted candle look, but my goodness, my glue was too hot. It started to melt the foam. But that's okay. What I did was I just continued, and then I went back when the glue cooled down. I went back and added some more glue, and then that actually helped make it really look like it was really melting wax. So it ended up being a good thing in the end. But at the time I thought, oh my goodness, I am making a mess. But look, it's looking like melted wax. Once the glue wasn't so hot, then it worked better. But definitely those first two, oh my goodness, it just melted that wax, and I thought, oh no. So see, this is how they look. They look a little scary, but that's okay. We're gonna fix it because I'm gonna add some chalk paint and paint them all black, and now they look better. So now I'm taking the lid off one of these containers, these Halloween containers, and I'm taking some of this spooky cloth. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's like a spooky cloth. And here it is again. My glue's so hot. So I placed my spooky cloth on the lid of this lid, and so now all I have to do is hot glue all these faux candles in place and place them in a manner where they kind of make sense, that you can see the heights, the different sizes on them, and then I'll hot glue them all together into each other or onto each other. And look at this, they just keep falling everywhere, but just keep working it, they end up being real cute. So just hold them together till they're all nice and dry. And now I'm taking some of these they're like nets from those little buckets, and I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to create kind of like a ribbon to hold all my candles in place. So I'll go ahead and take those two, pull them, make a knot, a double knot, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it around the candles and then make a bow. And now I'll add my candles. I'll embellish with some of those roses with the eyeballs and some extra little eyeballs. And that is it. What do you guys think? For DIY number 13 and my last DIY of this video, this is super simple. I'm just taking these frames from the Dollar Tree, this one here with the plastic in the center, and I tried to remove that little clip, but it wouldn't come off, so I'm leaving it. And then one of these mirrors from the Dollar Tree with the really pretty insides. And all I'm going to do is take some more window clings. I'm taking this one with the witch, with the moon. And all I'm going to do is just place it inside the mirror. And literally, that is it. That is all. Look at that. It's so cute. And then the same with this other frame. I'm taking the Hocus Pocus one. And I'll just place that inside of this glass. Well, it's not glass. It's like a plastic, clear plastic. And that is it. Look at that. Super easy, super cute. So fun for the kiddos. They can change these up. Well, this is the end of my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys did, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And until my next video, stay healthy, safe, and strong. And have a great, great day. Bye-bye.